Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and go beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee, co-host Raina. Snack of the day today will be Milkbone Minis, and let's get started on this very special tag that I have. This is called the Book and Booktuber Recommendation Tag. And this is an original tag, and it was created by Ellen at the Ellen Made Book Club. And this is in celebration of her 1-year anniversary on BookTube. So congratulations, Ellen. I was tagged by Ellen herself. And let's get started on the prompts, because this is a little bit different of a tag, and there's a lot to talk about. The first prompt is called Response. And it says, the person who tagged you recommended a book for you in their video. And she did. So it says, let us know what book that was, if you've read it before or since, and if you think that it was a good recommendation for you, based on either having read it or the description. And if you haven't been tagged, then you can skip the prompt, of course, and or respond to someone's general recommendations. So, okay. I was recommended a book by Ellen, and that was called The Great Black Hope, and it is by Rob Franklin. Now, this book doesn't come out until June of 2025. I would love to get an advance reader copy if I can, or hopefully it could be part of Book of the Month's early releases. I don't know. We'll see, but it will be either way, probably a bit of time before I do have a chance to read it because of that. But here is a bit of the description of it, and you can see if you think this is a good book for me. It says, an arrest for cocaine possession on the last day of a sweltering New York summer leaves Smith, a queer black Stanford graduate, in a state of turmoil. Pulled into the court system and mandated treatment, he finds himself in an absurd but dangerous situation. His class protects him, but his race does not. And then it says it's only weeks after the death of his roommate, who was the daughter of a famous singer. And so he's still, upset from all of that, as well as lingering questions around how well he really knew his closest friend. He flees to his hometown of Atlanta, only to buckle under the weight of expectations from his family of doctors and lawyers and their history in America. But when Smith returns to New York, it's not long before he begins to lose himself in his old life, drawn back into the underworld of the city, where he searches for answers, but, it's quite at a cost to him. Smith goes on a dizzying journey through the nightlife circuit, anonymous recovery rooms, Atlanta's Black Society set, police investigations, and courtroom dramas, and a circle of friends coming of age in a new era. So, yeah, I think it sounds good, and I think that it does sound like a book that I would like. And it will come out in June, which is Pride Month. So that would be a great read in celebration of Pride Month. So thank you, Ellen, for that recommendation. Now, number 2 is to return the favor. So now I'm to recommend a book back to the person who tagged me, and that was, again, Ellen, and tell us why you chose that book for that person. Now, for these prompts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, instead of recommending just one book, I'm actually going to recommend 2 books. Excuse me. And that is just in case they have read one of the people I, recommend books to, have read one of the books, they'll still have another one, that they can possibly choose from, or they can choose one of the 2 if they think one is really a bummer. And I don't mind them saying that. I mean, if I recommend a book to you and you say, nah, I don't think that was really for me, I don't mind. That's just kind of a correction, and I'll know a little bit more maybe next time. So for Ellen, I'm going to say, and actually she does make the note too, I should say, of Don't worry about recommending a book that the other person may have already read. We can't keep track of everyone else's reading, which is true. I can't keep track of my own. And if they have already read it, then they can tell even better that it was a good choice for them. So, yeah. So, first for Ellen, I would like to recommend The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. This is a book that I just finished, and I will be doing a full review soon. But Ellen, this is a story with strong female characters. It's a coming of age story, and it's exceptionally well written. I think you would really like it. I liked it a lot. Next recommendation for Ellen that I have is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This is an action-packed book. Maybe a little, let's see if Ellen likes that or not. It's fast-paced, but it's also an emotional story. I'm loving S.A. Cosby lately. He's one of our great Virginia writers, and I think his books are real gems that I'm very happy to have discovered. So, Ellen, there's your 2 recommendations. Okay, Raina, I need you to be up here, please. There you go. Sit. Okay, so next is prompt number 3. It says to pay it forward. So now I'm to choose 3 to 10 booktubers, 10, that I would want to tag and to recommend a book to each of them and tell us why you think they would like it based on their reading habits or tastes and the book. So first, I'm going to start with Brian from Adventures in Literature. I've buddy read now once with Brian, and I think I have a kind of a feel for his tastes. He has on his site that his favorite genres are Bildungsroman, which I had to look up, but it's a novel whose principal subject is the moral, psychological, and intellectual development of a usually youthful main character. A novel tracing the spiritual, moral, psychological, or social development and growth of the main character, usually from childhood to maturity. So that's one of his genres. He also likes mystery, horror, thrillers, and literary fiction. I've actually seen that Brian has read a variety of books. So for Brian, I'm going to recommend The Sisters Brothers by Patrick DeWitt. This is a Western, but it's a little different than most Westerns. In this book, we have 2 brothers whose last name is Sisters, and they are kind of like bounty hunters, or more to the point, they're actually contract killers. They set out on a long journey to find their mark, and one of them finds himself kind of questioning, what they're doing. And is it really the right thing to do, and maybe wanting a little more out of life. So I think you would like this, Brian. It has humor. It has a lot of action, and it's a fun read. The characters are very colorful, and they're also very memorable. So that's one. The other book I would recommend for Brian is Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI. This is by David Grann. It's a nonfiction book, which I don't always see reading a lot of, but I know you participated in nonfiction November, and so I remember, some books from there. But this book kind of reads in a way like a fiction book, and the story is so bizarre in some ways that it almost seems like fiction. And I think you would like the history in the story. I think you would like the story itself. I found it to be an interesting read, so hopefully you will too. So, Brian, there are your 2 recommendations. Now, next, I'm going to recommend 2 books for Maeve from Maeve Ever Books. Maeve's genres per her description, are fantasy, sci-fi, thrillers, classics, and nonfiction books. So, along the lines of a thriller, I'm going to recommend this book, and that is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. Um, this is an action-packed, really edgy thriller. It's about a small-town sheriff in Virginia who's tracking down a serial killer, basically. I'll give you that information about it. There's a bit more to it, and the character development is very good. I really like the sheriff. I thought that S.A. Cosby could actually make that into a series, and I would be very happy with it, but let's see what you think if you do read it. The other one that I would recommend is also a thriller, and that is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. This is also, again, a thriller. And of the thrillers I've read from Book of the Month, and there have been several of them, I often order the thrillers from them. This was actually the one that I liked the best. This is about a psychologist who is reliving the nightmare of several murders that occurred when she was younger, because it seems the same kind of thing is happening again. So she's reminded of it. So yeah, both good, two thrillers. And again, they were among the best ones that I've read in the past few months. So next I'm going to recommend to Daniela from Uncommon Reader, 2 books for her. Now, Daniela reads historic novels, sagas, Greek mythology, and books about different cultures. Now, I've done 2 buddy reads now with Daniela, and so I think I have a pretty good idea of her tastes in books. These are both fiction. They are both literary fiction. I enjoyed both of them very much, and they are both about different cultures. I know I learned a lot from each of them, and so I think Daniela will like them for the same reason. The books are Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson and The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali. I think these fit the profile of what I see you read frequently, and they were both excellent reads for me, so hopefully they will be for you too. So Daniela, there's your 2 books. So now the 4th and final prompt is an open invitation. And so this is where you recommend a book that you think anyone would like or that you think everyone should read. And this recommendation serves as an open invitation also to anyone who hasn't been tagged. So if you haven't been tagged and you want to do this, this is some of the books you could maybe choose from to get started. This is one that I don't have in this array yet, and that is The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles. A fun read, a road trip read. It's about young people. It's got a lot of action. It's got some emotion to it. Characters are kind of quirky and fun. I think it's a book that a lot of people would like. Probably my only criticism of it or hesitancy in recommending is that it is pretty hefty. Some people just don't like that. But yeah, that's a book that I think a lot of people would like. I think a lot of people would like Black Cake. It is about the Jamaican culture, but it's also a generational story. And I think it's got emotion to it. Characters are interesting, and it's got some different little twists to it. It's an excellent book. This was her debut novel, and it's kind of unbelievable to think that this was her debut because it's such a good book. I would recommend anything by S.A. Cosby. These are the 2 that I've read so far, and I just found them both to be fantastic. These were just really good in my opinion. He's going to come out with a new book. I believe it's in June, called King of Ashes, and I'm looking forward to that. I still have Blacktop Wasteland around here somewhere yet to read. So yeah, I'm happy about that. So yeah, those would be my recommendations. I think, for someone who maybe wasn't tagged, wants to pick it up, or just for anybody in general, or if you really don't like the ones I recommended, you can jump to one of these or something. But anyway, I thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, then please subscribe. Remember to like this video if you do. Remember to comment if you have one. And again, thanks and have a great day.